Oops. Uh, wait, that's not what I want to have visible. Ah, hello. I think I'm live? Oh? Oopsie. Okay. Nice. Yes, okay. Hello. Hey, I am Grace and Ellen. And I have already... uh-oh. Oops, wait a minute. This, and then... This, I'm a professional. I was definitely ready for... No, what the... No, don't be like that. There it is, okay. Hey, okay, there we go. There, that's that. Hey everybody, hello, welcome. I definitely was completely ready to start on time the way I was supposed to be. But yeah, hello. Ari says happy birthday to Gray. Oh, thanks, Ari. Oh, and Noir's here too. Noir says happy birthday, Grace and Allen, professional alien party planner. Sure, definitely. I'll put that on my resume. Noir says the music always slaps, reminds me of Dragon Quest. Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's a fun background song. I enjoy it a lot. And then Noir and Ari are sending emotes. Oh, Balthasar. Balthasar says, hello, Gray, how are you? Hey, Balthasar. I'm doing well. We're doing a kind of a different stream today. As based on the title and the... you know, it's fun. We're just chatting. There's no game to distract you all from what I'm doing. So that's unfortunate. Definitely not nervous about that. Smo says hello. And then says there you are. Noir says happy birthday. Oh wow. Well thank you everybody for all the well wishes. Yeah, it's been a really fun birthday so far. It's been really chill, actually, but people have been super nice, been sending me messages. Yeah, it's been really cool. And everybody's been super nice. I'm really excited about today's stream. I'm kind of nervous too, if you can't tell by my voice. I've never done anything quite like this yet. Like, I've done a lot of, like, mostly Let's Plays and stuff. But today, I have much cryptids that we shall be talking about, and their huggability. Or perhaps if you just want to stay friends. Because that's okay too. Smo says, hello, Grace and local alien hugger. Always hug the aliens. Mara says, professional alien butt kicker. And Balthasar says, manly happy birthday, hug ensues. Mara says, Grace said, focus on me. Don't do that. Mara says, how old are you in alien years? It depends. You know, every alien has their own planet with its own unique rotation. So, I'm super definitely some number of years old. Mara says, making you laugh is huge success. Thanks. I'm glad you're all having fun. I'm kind of surprised that so many people showed up so quick. I kind of wasn't expecting that, honestly. But Noir says he's redacted. But no, yeah, it's exciting. Someone says, what about on the planet Earth? Okay, fine. Sure. I guess since it is my birthday, we can all agree. Ari says, lots of love to you, my dude. Oh, thanks, Ari. It's really nice of you. But yeah, since we're all friends here, I am turning 28 today. So this is just a secret between me and you, internet. So, but yeah. Moore says, let's go 28 squad. Smo says, oh, thank God you're not a baby. We're old, says Noir. No, I mean, I don't know. 28 years young. I think, what? But yeah, I don't know. It's been a good birthday. They kind of, they get less eventful from year to year, but that's just the nature of it. Today's been really chill. Just been getting lots of like well wishes from people. And oh, that does remind me. I think on my schedule I was going to be playing Final Fantasy XIV after this stream. I'm probably not gonna be able to do that after all, actually. I totally forgot that my family would probably want to spend time with me on my birthday. And so I'm gonna be doing some stuff with family after this stream. But I will stream some Final Fantasy tomorrow. I'll do an extra long Final Fantasy stream the way I like to do on the weekends. But today is not about Final Fantasy. Today is about cryptids. And whether or not they should be hugged. Balthasar says, then I am the ancient one. Ah, you're not ancient, Balthasar. You're wizened. That's a good word, right? Ari says, hell ye. Yeah. So, I don't know, how is everybody doing today? Like, how's the weekend going for y'all? Mara says, did you get alien cake? Always. It's, oh geez, it's Chiron beta flavored. It's a really good one. Everybody, all of the Greys and the Pleiadians like it. Mara says, Balthasar says they have a tendency to want to do that. Mara says, yeah, it's funny how family wants to hang out with you on special occasions. Mara says, I might. Give me some cake. Balthasar says, very gracious of you, doing well. Cake. I don't actually have any. I should have prepared some cake pictures. I didn't prepare any like birthday themed decorations for today, which feels like an oversight now that the stream is live. Noir says, XD, he really said aight. Well, I mean, Noir, you know this already. I read whatever's put in front of me. I'm like Ron Burgundy from Anchorman. Anything that's put on the teleprompter, I'll read it, and it's a problem. Bella says a virtual cake wishes will do fine. Ari says aight. Noir says XD, D. Or wait, no, Noir said I'm not allowed to read the emotes, actually. She did say that. I'll try not to read your emotes, Noir, sorry. Noir says stop it. Yeah, sorry. But no, yeah. So thanks everybody for hanging out. And Ari says read them. Ari says you coward. Alright. But Ari says don't read them. Alright, I'm getting some mixed messages here. I feel like Ari says do it. See, I don't know, cause I feel like I'm already like on Ari's like people to stab list, so maybe I don't want to make him even angrier. But what was my train of thought? Oh, I was gonna say something, but anyway, yeah. So I should have like prepared some cliff notes or something that I could be reading along. Ari says, "Don't test me, Gray." The angry cat. Barthasar says, "Your stream, your birthday, your call." Smiley face. Sorry, I read the emote again. It's a bad habit. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think. So I guess just to lay down the, like, kind of like the plan. As far as Ari says, could be your last birthday. Oh, if only, if only. But Ari. Yeah, so I guess before we get officially started, actually, here, we're gonna press the any key real quick. Gray, no. Alright, so I hope everybody's ready. We're pressing any key to continue. Smo says, I'll be lurking on and off. Have fun. Yeah, no problem, Smo. Thanks for popping in to say hey. But here we are. It's Hug or Handshake Cryptids edition. I got only the finest of Windows XP software to make this super fancy slideshow presentation. Noir says, wait, this is an actual thing? Oh yeah. No, yeah, I worked really hard and definitely didn't rip this off of canva.com. Noir says, yo, that looks so cool. Trust me, this is gonna get progressively less cool as it goes because I was running out of time and had to get lazier. Yeah, this is new to me, this cryptid thing. Yeah, so I think that's kind of like part of like what I want to do with the stream is I think this would be a really fun way to just to talk about a lot of cryptids because I'm super into paranormal stuff, right? And I feel like so far, like on my streams, I really haven't delved into it too often. Like, I mostly just like kind of stick to like relevant to the game kind of conversation. But I thought for my birthday, I'd like to do a really fun thing where we're going to talk about different cryptids. Like, so for those, I mean, I guess just like a general definition, cryptids are creatures that may or may not exist, but have not been, basically they're creatures that have not been proven to exist. Sometimes they've been proven to definitely not exist, but that's not fun. Ari says SCP PC. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I've got 24 cryptids that are some of like my personal favorites. Like a good mix of like the famous ones and some really obscure ones that nobody's ever talked about. And I think this will be a really fun way to kind of talk about cryptids and discuss whether or you would or would not like to hug them. And Ari says, shh, they all real. No, definitely. I mean, that's the real fun thing with cryptids is you can get into the conversation of like what's possible and what's impossible, right? But first, I remembered the thing I was going to talk about earlier. There's a couple of things that people can participate in with as we go. I've made some special commands that are just for the stream. I shall demonstrate right now. So, and this is for people to join in on voting if they like something or not. I made command hug and command handshake. And so I think there's like a way to make like real like polls on Twitch, but I didn't know how to like make the polls work in a way that would flow really quickly. Like since it's just me kind of operating everything. Oh, just something interesting. Can't stay for long, but this could be cool. No, yeah, I understand. Like if people got to bounce, then that's all good. Like this is just for fun. Like this is mostly just to satisfy my own whims. Like this is just something I like. So yeah. So Ari says hug is the pouch go out. Wow, sure. Sure it is, Ari. Yeah, so people can join along. You know, they can say if they like it or not as well whenever we get to cryptids. I'd love to hear people's opinions on which cryptids they like or don't like. And I'm thinking I may eventually like do like full streams dedicated just to specific cryptids where you could like watch videos and stuff about them. Balthasar says, I will have a little something for the FF14 stream tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, like, if you ever... Balthasar says, just some info. Okay, yeah, sure. I'm always up for help and advice on Final Fantasy XIV. And Ari says, that'd be really fun, yeah. Okay, so... I think we have dithered and dathered and blathered, as they say. So let's go ahead and shall we take a look at our very first cryptid of the evening? Our first lovely contestant, as it were. Alright. Alicia says your cryptid idea sounds good. Thanks. I think it'd be fun, and I think it's different from what a lot of other people do. Like, I don't know, I really like this stuff, and I love talking about it, so... Alright, here is contestant number 1. Dun dun dun. It's the Enfield Horror, look at him! He's so adorable. I love him. I'm gonna be straight up like, I'm supposed to like save my my vote for like until after I talk about the cryptid, but I love him. Look at him, he's so cute. Like, if this guy came tapping on your window at night, wouldn't you want to let him in? Like... Ari says, I'd be down for that. Ari says, handshake. Ari would rather give this cryptid a handshake. That's fair. That's fair, Ari. Nora says I'd be down. Yeah, so this is the Enfield Horror. This one is a monster that was encountered only, I would say only twice has it ever been seen. It was on the same night in Enfield, Illinois, in the United States, way back in 1973. Basically, it's, as you can see, it's a three-legged kind of like people kind of describe it as like a weird like three-legged kind of kangaroo thing, but like it didn't have like any kind of a neck, just like a head comes straight off the torso. And the very first encounter that was reported was this like I think 12-year-old kid walking home in the middle of the night, and he says that he saw this thing approach him out of the darkness. It chased him down, knocked him over, and ripped apart his tennis shoes with its claws, and then ran away and ran off into the night. He was otherwise unharmed, but yeah, it totally destroyed his shoes. And the house of another family in town. Only the kids were home at the time, and it just started like trying to break into their house. Basically, it like knocked on the door somehow, and one of the kids opened the door and immediately closed it upon seeing this thing just sitting on their porch, which fair enough. And then it spent like 3 hours, like apparently trying to like just like tapping on all the doors, like trying to get through the windows, and it just really sucked at its job and eventually gave up and disappeared and has never been seen since. Yeah, it just terrorized a bunch of random people in Illinois, and it's adorable and I love him. I would give this guy a big hug. I say big hug on this one. Wait, Ari says two-leg and high PP. That's not true. Ari, don't. I'm fairly sure that's not true. For the sake of Twitch TOS, I'm gonna say that's not true, Ari. Just to be clear. Yeah, this is the Enfield Horror. This is a really obscure one that I wanted to start with, because you never hear anybody talk about it. It definitely doesn't have a lot of evidence to prove it, but it's a fun story. It's just like this like weird cryptid that like showed up to like terrorize kids. Oh, Yampy. Yampy's here. Yampy Tar says hello, hello. Hi, Yampy. I hope you're doing well. I think you mentioned that you're like supposed to be working right now, so I hope you're doing your job properly. I don't know. Hope things are going well for you on your shift. Mari says I just should. Yeah, so we just talked about the Enfield Horror. I love him. I give him a big hug. He deserves more love. Yampy says I'm still at work, lol. Alright, well... be careful with that, Yampy, I guess. Enjoy yourself. Balthasar says, you'd be mad too since they only sell tennis shoes in pairs. You know, that really might be it. That might be like what his whole shtick was, is that he felt like, oh, what's the word, like biased against. Like all these people with like their two legs and they're like nice looking shoes. And he'll never find shoes that are made for his weird toe claws. And that's probably what's going on. Yeah, this is the Enfield Horror. Yay! Next up, we have the Loch Ness Monster. It's Nessie. We gotta talk about Nessie, right? Obviously, like, I think on the more famous cryptids I probably won't spend as much time on, since I'm assuming we all kinda know the gist of them. Noir says, let's go, big hug. Yeah, no, Noir is... Nessie with an N, is awesome. Super fun cryptid. Like, obviously, like, from the picture here, you can tell, like, a lot of people assume that Nessie is some kind of, like, a dinosaur, or maybe, like, a descendant of a dinosaur from way back when, that's, like, still just chilling out in Scotland, in Loch Ness. There's been, like, tons of pictures taken over the years, and obviously with how, like, incredibly massive Loch Ness is, there isn't a complete map of the bottom, or, like, the depths of Loch Ness, so nobody really knows what's down there for sure. Obviously, a full-size dinosaur maybe leans towards the unlikely, but I really think, like, with Nessie, I think there's something there. I think there's, like, some crazy thing that nobody's ever really, like, managed to get, like, a good, like, sight of. It's like living in there and we just have no idea. Like we know something's there. Like we get pictures every now and then. But Yampi says, hard agree, big hug. Or it says big hug. See, Noir says, Nessie is a field spawn in an MMO I used to play and I could never see it spawn. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense. It would be rare, right? Yeah, Nessie is delightful. I give Nessie a hug as well. Because look, I mean, Nessie is just big and lovable. As far as I know, has never killed anybody, which is always a plus when it comes to likable cryptids. Nessie just kind of minds her own business, and I respect that. Noir says super rare event. You basically had to camp out. Also says, how could you not hug? It's Nessie. No, yeah. Yeah, Nessie's great. Like, it's a classic cryptid, right? Like, this is probably like one of the top 5 most famous cryptids. Like, I would assume. Like, it's a really fun one. And maybe this might call me out as a bit of a nerd or something, but I freaking love Scooby-Doo and all of the terrible Scooby-Doo movies that have been made over the years. And there was one movie, it was Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster. It was like back like in 2004, 2005 or something. And I watched that movie like at least 100 times. I freaking loved it. I loved like Loch Ness Monster. I loved that. I mean, that movie is like not terribly good, but I watched it a million times. And Ari says, whoever didn't hug gets stabbing. Mara says, we already know you're a nerd, that's why we're here. Ari says, ban. Okay. Ari, this is why I can't give you mod powers, just saying. Like, I do appreciate that you're here, but I don't think you can be allowed to have any more power than you already have in this chat. Yeah, the Loch Ness Monster, Nessie. Big hugs. He's great. And then we have this handsome feller. This is the Puckwudgie. This is like, I think like it depending on like how much into cryptids you are, this is kind of like an A-lister. This is one that gets talked about quite a bit. Morris says would take on a date. Yeah, Puckwudgies are interesting. They kind of run the gambit of like this is like the Puckwudgies like from Native American folklore. Like I think primarily the Wampanoags, but a lot of tribes had their own like idea of the Puckwudgie or something very similar. It kind of falls into the same category of like little folk, like from like, you know, like in Ireland, like characters like the leprechaun or the brownie. Puckwudgies were basically very mischievous trickster kind of characters. They kind of ran the gambit from like harmless pranks to deadly pranks involving claws, as you can see here. They're pretty much always described as being not terribly handsome. They're little gruff looking. Nora says would take on a date. I got drunk with power. Easy. Ari says. Nora says they look like a D&D monster. I think this picture actually might be from a D&D handbook. I was trying to grab photos or like images of the I was trying to grab images of the cryptid that were as like accurate to the original description as possible, because some cryptids have like changed and evolved over the years in terms of like how they look in popular culture, but this is pretty generally what a Puckwudgie was thought to look like, which is like very aggressive looking. Yeah, they're pretty sneaky. They like to lure people into the forest in order to either get them lost or maybe kill them, depending on, you know, the severity of the folklore. Yeah, I'm gonna say personally for me, I would give the Puckwudgie a handshake. Like, I think Puckwudgies are I think the Puckwudgie is a really cool legend. And honestly, there might be something to it, because there's a lot of weird stories about Puckwudgies that we could get into another time. Like, people, like, even, like, recently have claimed to encounter these things. And there's a certain amount of, like, credibility to some of it. But anyway. Yeah, Puckwudgie, I would give a handshake just because I feel like if I go for the hug, he's gonna try to give me a wedgie or something, the puck wedgie, as it were. So that's why, no offense to the puck wedgie, but I'd give him a handshake. Balthasar says handshake. Balthasar says from a distance, yeah. Handshake with like a 10-foot pole. Or says kills you, haha, get punked. It's kind of true. I mean, there's kind of a thing with like Fae folklore where like they don't understand that humans can die. And so a lot of their pranks that are like harmless to them are like deadly to humans. Morris says 10 out of 10 terrible pun king. Yeah, I mean that was like low-hanging fruit, I'm gonna be honest. Oh. What? What? Hold on. That's not right. How did Chrome... That's... Next Cryptid 404. Yeah, it's my favorite SCP. How... I can't... It's Chrome. How did Chrome crash? That's impossible. This is like the one stream that was like guaranteed to never crash. I can't believe it. Nobody noticed that. Next Cryptid 404, interesting viewpoint. We saw nothing from Chrome crashes. I can't believe I'm not even playing a video game and something still crashed. I'm so angry. Alright, we're gonna move on to the Puckwudgie. I think the Puckwudgie's actually mad. I think I got it mad. That's the only explanation. It's angry that I gave it a handshake. Now it's screwing with my computer like a gremlin. Okay, let's move on. Quick. It's the goat man. Look at him. So friendly. Morris says the forbidden emoji that I can't say out loud, and then it said it pranked you. Morris says, dang. Nah, goat man. Yeah, goat man is... goat man is here. I guess this is just the goat man. I think most people know about him, but he's part man, part goat. Usually, it's kind of like an urban legend kind of cryptid. Like a lot of United parts of the United States have their own version of the goat man. He's usually like some kind of like failed experiment of like a mad scientist. Noir says, nah, F goat man, it gets nothing. Ari gives it a hug. That's good. Yeah, goat man is usually not very friendly. It's not in this picture, but a lot of times goat man actually wields an axe. Weirdly enough, he likes to wield an axe and he usually attacks cars. Probably because he hates technology. I don't know. Yeah, Goatman, like a really famous kind of urban legend cryptid. I'm gonna give this guy a... No. How? What? Goatman also gets a handshake. I think if I... Hold on. Are they hearing that I'm giving them handshakes, or is that just a mad coincidence? It's gotta be a coincidence, right? There's no way. Mari says he's mad about gas prices. Me too, Mr. Goat. Ari says no, maybe reload entire page. I'm with you on this one. Yeah, if that crashes again, I'm gonna have to do something, because I don't know what's going... I don't know. It's fine. But yeah, Goatman, I'm getting out of here. It's trying to crash me. Hey! It's the Beast of Gévaudan. This is a cryptid from France. This is actually really interesting in this. The Beast of Gévaudan is confirmed real, in the sense that this is like a real historical creature that people found, or encountered, I guess would be the better word. Like in I think it was the 1600s, or maybe 1700s in France. There was a terrible beast roaming the countryside, and like depending on the sources, it either killed dozens of people or it killed hundreds of people. But the thing is, it was definitely real, because people were definitely being killed by some kind of animal. There were tons of witnesses saying that it looked like kind of like something between like a cat and a wolf. but like just like enormous, right? And eventually it was hunted down and killed. And I believe there's a museum in France that claims to have like the stuffed trophy of the beast of Gévaudan. I think there's like some dispute about the legitimacy. I couldn't find a picture of the taxidermied animal. Yeah, this is a real thing that was going around for a while. A lot of people were kind of speculating that, like, I kind of personally agree that it might have been like a dire wolf, which dire wolves went extinct a long time ago. But basically, a dire wolf was just a wolf, but more dire. Yeah, the Beast of Gévaudan. It's kind of interesting because it's a cryptid, but it's also like definitely real. Like this was definitely a thing that happened. That's kind of wild, in terms of like cryptids, where like you can actually like prove something with it, Mara says, bottom line, it killed people. Yeah, it definitely killed a bunch of people. Let's go, real cryptid. Extra hug. Noir says, my new pet. Wolf 2.0. Nari says, mine. It just needs a croissant and head pats. Yeah, the Beast of Gévaudan. Oh, tech. Status access violation? What does that even mean? Hold on, I'm gonna... What is happening? Oh, you know what? Here, let me try this, actually. We're gonna... Okay. I'm trying something different. I think it doesn't like that I'm putting stuff in full screen. So we're going to not have it in full screen. It's lost its full screen privileges. And that's just how it is. Okay. So it's not in full screen anymore, it just stopped crashing. Mara says, guys, new wolf just dropped. Stream hacks. Okay, yeah, so enough of that. Screw that noise. Beast of Gévaudan. Okay, Beast of Gévaudan, I also am giving it a handshake. I didn't even have time to say handshake before it crashed this time. I think the universe is out to hurt me and make me sad. But okay, the Beast of Gévaudan. There you go. Very great. Or says, wait, that's hug material, bro. I mean, he is coming in for a hug, I will admit. But I'm gonna have to, like, artfully dodge it and then give him, like, a pat on the back instead. Mari says, it's just a puppy. I mean, kind of. Mari says, hug. Yeah, I don't know about the Beast of Gévaudan, guys. Not my first choice, personally, but... oh, that reminds me. I think I should have ambience music playing in the background. I can't hear it on my end, but I'm just curious, like, if people can hear it, and if it's bothering them, or if I should keep it in. Mara says you do. Like, I thought it'd be fun to have a little bit extra sound, but if it's distracting, I can disable it. Mara says it's spoopy music. Yeah, it's like an ambience track of, like, forest sounds at night. So I thought that might be kind of appropriate. Yeah, the Beast of Gévaudan. So... next is the Loveland Frogman. Look at him. Balzar says maybe if he ate first, then a hug might be fine. Might be possible. Ari says, how dare you not hug him? Ari says, Frogman. That's the Loveland Frogman. I love the Loveland. The Loveland Frogman gets a giant hug from me, because he's adorable. He's precious. Yeah, Loveland Frogman. I forget what part of America this is from, but basically it was an encounter that happened, like, back in the 60s. This like, teenage couple was, like, driving down the road, and they saw this fine fellow standing off to the side of the road, and then he jumped off the side of a bridge into the water before they could, like, fully catch up to where he was. And then there's been other encounters over the years, including, like, a police officer that claimed to shoot at one, and then he tried to, like, take back his story and say, like, oh, maybe it was just, like, a lizard, but be an effing big lizard if you saw, like, a 4-foot something standing on its two legs. But yeah, Loveland Frogman, he's adorable. Nora says, it's Frog from Frog and Toad. It kind of does look like it, doesn't it? Nora gives this Cryptid a big hug. Nora says he's shy. Yeah, the Loveland Frogman is great. I give him a big hug. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a picture that depicted it, but in the very first account written about the Loveland Frogman, my favorite part of the whole story is the fact that the Frogmen were the Frogman was apparently wearing pants, like straight up just like some Levi's, and was holding some kind of like a scepter, like some kind of wand, before he jumped into the water. For some reason, a lot of like artist drawings take that out of the picture, I guess because they want to make it more credible. Because, you know, regular old Frogman, that's believable. But once you start saying the Frogman has pants in magic, then that's just silly, I guess. Yeah, Frogman is great. Big hug. Balthazar says I have to be wearing a raincoat, potential slime issue. Nora says you got the jeans on. No, yeah, Frogman's great. He's a fun one. So big hug to Frogman. And the next we have rods. Now, rods are kind of cheating a little bit, because I don't know if people are even sure this is actually a cryptid, or like maybe like a UFO kind of a, like alien thing. Nora says, oh no, 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 no. Yeah, rods are a really bizarre thing. It's something that's it's like a weird thing that's like caught on camera every now and then. Like nobody ever seems to see them like with like the bare human eye, but cameras seem to catch them. And they're always like these like weird kind of centipede looking things like flying through the air. And it's like, it's really weird. And a lot of people try to say like it's like some kind of like camera error. But like they're fairly consistent like in how they look, right? Like rods are like weird to me. Like they're like one of like the very first cryptids I ever like got into. And they're just like weird and fascinating to me. And yeah, it's basically just like a giant flying bug, which some people might not be into. I give the rods a hug though. Like I want to better understand the rods. I feel like they are misunderstood. Nora says that scares the crap out of me. It looks like a centipede, which I'm terrified of. Another star says, sus. Nora says no. Yeah, rods are weird, right? Like, because like it's weird that they're only seen by cameras. That feels kind of like maybe it's like some kind of camera error. But it's weird that like it's such a consistent thing, and like lots of different kinds of cameras have caught them. Like it's, I don't know, it's weird. Like rods are like a weird category of like, because like a lot of people are like maybe they're like living organisms. They're like they live like on a different like light spectrum than the human eye can even see, and that's why we don't see them. But where's the haul arse out of here option? Sorry, Nora, there's no option for that. I mean, I guess the end stream button would do that if you just want to click out of here. But yeah, so we'll move on. Rods are weird. I give them a hug. I think it's a really strange and fun category. Nora says LMAO. Walter says like eye floaters. Yeah, it's that same kind of idea as like when you get like floaters in your eye. Like that kind of weird thing. But like it's like the camera equivalent of floaters, right? Where it's like there's like some like weird thing just going on, and nobody's ever really like no scientific people ever really looked at them. I think everybody just kind of writes it off as like a weird glitch. I wish like somebody that like really knew what they were talking about could like figure it out though, because I think it could be easily solved if the right people got together on it. But anyway, let's move on. It's the Totzel Worm. I love the Totzel Worm. Look at him. It's a snake cat. So cute. How can you not love the Totzel Worm? Ari says, can we just burn this one? I'm vibing with Ari on this one. Ari says, oh, I stand this. Yeah, the Totzel Worm is incredible. Like, I mean, look at how adorable. This is like a mythological creature. I think from Europe. I can't remember specifically which country. But yeah, it's kind of a legendary creature. It's usually depicted as being kind of like an enemy. It's like an enemy character to whatever hero this like it shows up in quite a few different like legends and tales. And it's usually like one of like it's like an early boss in like the hero's story, right? He has to overcome the Totzel Worm before he can get onto like the final quest. Yeah, I mean, it's adorable, right? It's like a little kitty, little grabby hands, and a little snake body. Love the Totzelworm. It's a big hug. Mara says my new pet. Walter has a kitty. Yeah, he looks so happy. You know, the Totzelworm is great, and actually, I mean, it's kind of, and maybe this art kind of makes him look a little bit more friendly, maybe than he traditionally was. Because yeah, like I think he's pretty universally like a villain kind of monster. I don't know. It's great. I love the Totzelworm. Big hugs for the Totzelworm. So there you go. Then we have the Oswang. This one is less pleasant, but really interesting and spooky. Unfortunate name, I will admit. But yeah, this is a mythological creature from the Philippines. Or it says looks like a Yu-Gi-Oh monster. It kind of does. Yeah, this is from the Philippines. It's kind of like the Philippines version of a vampire in a way, but with like some extra steps. Because basically the Oswang is usually the person who's been like infected, like, because like people like are like cursed to become Oswangs, right? Like it's like something you turn into. But usually the person doesn't know they're an Oswang. But what happens is like during the day they're a normal person, and then they fall asleep at night, and depending on the story, either the top half of their body will disconnect from their legs, or sometimes just the head will disconnect from the body, and then just that part of them turns into an Oswang, leaves the rest of the body, I guess, in bed, just sleeping, and it'll just go flying around looking for people to attack. And so, it's a very real, I mean, I don't know, like, how prevalent it is, like, but, like, this is, like, it was a very real fear back in the day of being attacked by, like, a flying head or, like, a flying torso. It was gonna be out to eat your flesh and steal your blood. Mara says 2,000 attack, 1,700 defense. That seems fair. Mara says, yeah, that happens to me sometimes, too. That's unfortunate, Art. Or, yeah, Oswang, I would give a handshake to. And then I'd be worried about my hand flying off without me and turning into an Oswang. But yeah, Oswangs are very cool. It's a very famous creature in Filipino folklore, which is kind of why I wanted to include it, because like it's a pretty big deal in that part of the world. There's literally like 1,000 movies based off of this thing. Balthasar says, "Wasn't me. I was home in bed all night, officer." Yeah, you just like send a photo of like your legs poking out of the bed and be like, "See, I was there." Or says, "I respect this cryptid." But yeah, this Oswang is great. It's delightful. Next we have the Owl Man of Cornwall. Look at him. He's so friendly. He looks a little grumpy in this picture. But the Owl Man, I will say, is a fun cryptid in that what he looks like versus like what he does doesn't really match up very well. But basically, the Owl Man of Cornwall, England, was basically, I don't know if he's been spotted recently, like back in the, I want to say the 70s to early 80s, the Owl Man was spotted semi-regularly near a university in Cornwall, England, and the gist of most of the stories would be along the lines of, like, a young woman was like walking home from university. They'd pass under a tree, look up into the tree, and they'd see this fella staring down at them, just kind of being a creeper, and then they would get scared and run away. And that's like basically every encounter with the Owl Man is like he's like just like creeping on people, just like watching them. Excuse me. Mara says, "Does he have hands though?" Yeah, that's the weird thing. I think with the Owl Man, at least the reports I saw, at least the original ones, he didn't really seem to have arms. At least no arms that people specifically talked about. And Balthasar says, "Oh, nothing a few mice feeding couldn't cure." Mara says, command wing shake. Yeah, Owlman, kind of weird. Honestly, might have just been an owl, just like a normal owl that people were seeing and getting freaked out by. And they got exaggerated, but I love the Owlman. So I give the Owlman a hug. I give him a big hug. So, there you go, Owlman. And next, we have someone suspiciously similar looking, actually. And slightly more famous, I would say. And if Smo's in chat, he's gonna be angry at me again, but that's fine. It's the Mothman! Is the famous Mothman. Noir says Mothman, yeah. Noir guessed it. Also just needs a friend. Yeah, Noir called it. Noir, you get a golden star. Golden star sticker. So congrats. Noir says, nah, he overrated. Smo says hug. Noir says, yay. But no, yeah, so the Mothman, and actually that's like the one thing, that's the reason like I included the Owlman at all, actually, was the fact that Owlman looks very similar to Mothman, but Owlman came about 10 years after Mothman. Like, Mothman was the original, and then Owlman showed up in England later on. So kind of like a weird coincidence similarity. Smo says, I'm always angry. Also says unbox some mothballs. Yeah, Mothman is fun. Like, I think a lot of people are aware of, like, vaguely the legend. Basically back in the, was it like the early 70s or late 60s? I can't remember exactly when it was. The Mothman was showing up in Point Pleasant, Virginia, bothering people, kicking up a ruckus. And they all kind of culminated in, like, this big local disaster where, like, a bridge collapsed and a lot of people died. And a lot of people blamed the Mothman for it. There's no proof. Mothman claimed that he was at a friend's house that night. It's, you know, it's one of those things, like, you know, there's witnesses say he was somewhere else, but also those witnesses might have been just, like, helping give him trying to give him, like, an alibi. Nobody really ever really proved anything, so Mothman kind of got let off the hook. You know, they arrested him, but they didn't have evidence, had to let him go. It's a big thing. Big issue back in the day. I assume. I don't know. Yeah, Mothman, I would give Mothman a handshake. Mostly because, actually, I don't even know if I would want to give him a handshake, personally. Because the one weird thing with Mothman sightings is, like, there's, like, very consistent across the board, is that people who looked directly into Mothman's red eyes, like, had those kind of encounters, they'd have two things happen to them. They'd get really sick, with symptoms that resembled radiation poisoning, as though they had been near something radioactive. And so that's not good. And then the other thing is, like, they would get, what's it called, like, inflamed conjunctivitis. Basically, they get pink eye from looking at Mothman. And that just sounds like a bad time. Like, I don't know how that works. Like, it's a very consistent part of, like encounters with him. To the point where, like, somebody's credibility as a witness was determined by if they got pink eye or not from seeing Mothman. Noir says, bro, I was visiting my cousin Owlman. Noir says, Mothman, that's rude. No, yeah, it's like a really weird thing, like, and that's, like, kind of like the detail in the Mothman story that makes me kind of believe Mothman was a thing. Because who the heck is going to give themselves pink eye and or radiation poisoning just to say they encountered some cryptid? You know, it's not like people who say they encountered Bigfoot, like, go get, like, their chest ripped open, like, see, Bigfoot attacked me. Like, Father says, throw wool sweaters and run. Or says pink eye sucks. Yeah, it's not cool. Not my first choice for, like, how to spend a weekend. But yeah, Mothman is super famous. Figured we'd talk about him. I give him a handshake. And there you go. Next we have the Kappa. Look, he's adorable. This is another pretty famous one. This is from Japan. I think a lot of people are kind of aware of the idea of the Kappa. It's kind of like a turtle-like, amphibious, like, water creature that lives in Japan. It likes to try to lure people into wrestling matches. And if you lose the wrestling match, it'll, like, drag you into the water and eat you sometimes. Or other times it'll just laugh at you for being a weakling. Noir says, in Harvest Moon games, you can marry the Kappa. You can marry a Kappa. That's super funny. But no, yeah, he looks like a little, like, Ninja Turtle, right? A little, like, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. But Balthazar says the info around these cryptids is interesting. Yeah, are you talking about, like, the Kappa specifically? Because, yeah, the Kappa has a very long history. Like, and, like, the other thing, you'll notice, like, on the very top of the Kappa's head here, it's got, like, a little, like, hollow, like indent in its skull that's full of water. And the water is the source of the Kappa's strength. So as long as that water stays in its head, it will always beat you in the wrestling match. But if you can trick the Kappa into, like, bowing its head or otherwise losing the water out of there, it'll lose all of its strength and then you can win and run away. And Noir says, I love the cryptid backstory. Noir says, I'm a drink it. I don't know. What's the... Would that be Gamer Kappa bathwater? That's no thank you. But yeah, Kappa is really interesting. I thought it'd be a really good choice for representing Japanese cryptids. I mean, there's so... Like, in Japan, they're usually called, like, yokai. Which, that's a whole category we could do, like, a whole stream on some other time. Like, Japanese yokai are fascinating to me. Noir says, then I become the superior cryptid. I mean... You know what, Noir? You get another gold sticker because in all of my research of the Kappa, I've never heard a single story of somebody trying to drink the water out of its head. That's never come up once in, like, the 1,000 years this thing has had, like, legends about it. So you get full points. You are currently winning the stream, just so you know. Ari, you need to pick up the slack a little bit. Just saying. Oh, Vega Luster. Hello, Vega. Welcome. We're talking about cryptids. And this is the Kappa. I give the Kappa a big hug. Because the Kappa, I mean, especially like in this picture, the Kappa is very cute, right? And they're generally harmless. Like, they don't usually murder people. Like, certain legends have them be more vicious, but for the most part, they're just like, they like to screw around with humans, and I think that's funny. Balthazar would rather give the cryptid a handshake. Noir says, my huge brain is immeasurable. Nick says, Kappa get hugs. Smo says, promise him a refill if he bows to the fight, fill him with sake. Win. Get a drinking, but that's actually really funny, Smo. I've never heard of that idea either. You also get a sticker. You get a gold sticker. So there you go. Ari says, command head pat. There is actually not a command head pat. Which I should probably make a command for that. That actually reminds me, like, if anybody ever, like, specifically wants a certain command in the stream, like, let me know about it and I can implement it. I just don't know what people usually have on streams, you know? Yeah. And I guess everybody can feel free to command hug or command head pat as they see fit. Because, yeah, I don't know, Kappa gets a hug for me. He's cute, he's funny, and you guys are coming up with some really creative ideas for how to outsmart a Kappa, and I appreciate that. Ari says, I've made my choice. Noir says, hug him, then suplex him. You win. You're right. The Kappa never sees that coming, the suplex. And actually, this is actually sort of relevant. Before we pass on to the Kappa, I just want to give a shout out to one of the worst anime I've ever had to watch, that I think that all of you definitely should go watch just to share my suffering. There's an anime called Sarazanmai, which is a story about... It's an anime, it's like a 12-episode anime about 3 boys who get cursed and turn into kappas. And it's a really weird, cursed anime. Like, there's so much, like, imagery from that anime that, like, just makes me upset. And it delves into, like, a whole other aspect of Kappa mythology that I don't really want to talk about. Except that basically Kappa... Actually... Wait, no. TOS. Okay, for the sake of Twitch TOS, I'm not going to talk about the other part of Kappa mythology. But look it up. You can, like... Google... it's fine. Don't worry about it. We're not gonna talk about it. Basically, but Sarazanmai gets into it, and basically Kappa like to steal things from your insides, and it's not nice of them. Vega Listeria says hello. Was finally able to catch a stream. Yeah, hi Vega, welcome. We're just talking about cryptids, and feel free to command hug or command handshake if you see one that you like or don't like. And Smo says, keep digging that hole, Grayson. Or says he almost read it. I'm learning, Noir. Don't worry about it. Yeah, no, yeah, we're gonna move on from a Kappa before I say something that gets me in trouble with Twitch Daddy. So, look it up if you want to. I'm sure it'll come up with like the first couple paragraphs of like the wiki page. I just don't want to talk about it here. So we're moving on from the Kappa. He gets a hug, but don't let him give you the reach round. Here we have the Chupacabra. This is a fun one. This is like one of my favorite, like one of my early favorite cryptids. You'll notice I have a couple of pictures here because the Chupacabra is one of my favorite cryptids. The Chupacabra has probably the worst PR team in history. Like, I don't know what happened to the poor Chupacabra, but it is such a cool cryptid, and for some reason in popular culture, it gets like the worst representation. Like, as you can see here, I actually have a picture. This top picture is the original description of what a Chupacabra looked like. Like, the very first reports of people saying that there was a creature attacking their livestock over... I think this was in... Ah, jeez. Is it Cuba? Or... It was somewhere in South America. Oh man, I feel bad now. Somewhere in South America. Like, this thing was seen attacking livestock, particularly goats, sucking out the blood. And like, this thing looks awesome. He looks scary. He is out for your sheep. And watch out, he gonna, hide your sheep, hide your cattle, because he's sucking out everybody's blood. And for some reason, at some point, the Chupacabra turned from looking like this to just straight up being a coyote. Where people are like, oh, it's a weird looking coyote, it's a Chupacabra. That's not what it was never... Because that's like the thing like skeptics talk about, right? They're like, oh, Chupacabras are just like coyotes with mange, or like some other kind of like dog with mange. It never looked like this. It looked like sick as hell. Look at that guy. That's the guy you want like backing you up in a fight. Like, he is ready to help you like defy your enemies. This is like the Chad Chupacabra versus the Virgin Chupacabra, right? So that's my rant. I hate what the Chupacabra has become in popular culture. It's like such a crying shame. Yeah, I give the Chupacabra a big hug. Smo says Peru. Sorry, no PR. Okay, so Smo says it's from Peru. That sounds like it could be right. Vegas says handshake. Fair enough. Nick says, yeah, the character design went downhill. It really did. I mean, this is like for an example, like, this is the original Teen Titans. This is Teen Titans Go, right? Like, just like, what happened? How did this happen? Why did this get so many more seasons? Why is reality unfair? Anyway, okay, that's a Chupacabra. Oh, Smo says Puerto Rico. Oh, okay, that sounds right, actually. I believe Puerto Rico, because I thought it was like some kind of like South America, like, I thought it was like a Spanish-speaking island somewhere. I thought Cuba, but that Puerto Rico sounds right. I'll take it. So yeah, that's the Chupacabra. He gets a big hug. He is delightful. I will defend him with my life. He must be protected. And now we move on to the Jersey Devil. Jersey Devil, also a very famous cryptid. He's from New Jersey because, I guess, like, the universe looked down on people living in New Jersey and was like, you're not being punished enough for your choices, so have this thing. Vegas says if the design hadn't changed, I would have gone for a hug. Yeah, poor Chupacabra. It's a shame. Yeah, the Jersey Devil, and this is another one that's actually changed over the years, a little bit anyway, because the original Jersey Devil was described as being like very skeletal, with like bat wings and kind of like a horse face. like a long, thin tail. A lot of times if you look up the Jersey Devil nowadays, it kind of just looks like a goat man with wings, which is still kind of spooky and not too far off, but like this is slightly more accurate to what the Jersey Devil was originally described as. Nix says, I have this one as a tattoo. Oh, really? You have a Jersey Devil tattoo, Nix? That's actually really cool. Yeah, Jersey Devil is like definitely like a classic cryptid, and it has a really fun origin story. Like the long story short is that they're back in the, I want to say like the 1600s. There was a family living out in there's a place in New Jersey called the Barrens. There's like this massive stretch of like woodland and like forest and stuff. And there's a family like living out on the outskirts of the Barrens. Nick says, I have many cryptid tattoos. That's really cool, Nix. Like I am personally not much of a tattoo person. I don't have any. I'm boring. But cryptids are an awesome choice of tattoo. Like, I think they can make a really fun statement for like who you are as a person. Like your choice of cryptid, right? So that's like part of like, I think cryptids are like a really fun like personality test. In terms of like, you can learn a lot about a person like based on like the kind of cryptids they like. At least in my opinion. But anyway, the Jersey Devil, the story is there was a woman known as Mother Leeds. She was the mother of the Leeds family, and she had 12 children, and she was tired of having children. And then she found out she was pregnant again, and it was going to be her 13th child. And she was so angry, she was like, I made this. He's like, well, this child is going to be a devil. And apparently God heard that and laughed, or the devil heard that and laughed or something. Because, 9 months later, when she gave birth, this thing came out. And the story goes, and I love this, like this version of the story I love anyway. Like this thing came out, and oh, hey, thank you, Vega. Thanks for the follow. That's really nice of you. Yeah, this thing came out, and it proceeded to slap the hell out of everybody in the room, and then it ran away up the chimney. And that's how it came into existence. It's like a really silly story, but like, and people like see the Jersey Devil all the time. Or they claim to see something that seems to be a Jersey Devil. Like even like to this day. And so like this one gets a lot of press and popularity. Very cool one. I give the Jersey Devil a big hug. Noir says, he's my little brother and I love him. Next, not the slap. But yeah, so that's the Jersey Devil. And this is... Sorry, I'm talking a bit more than I thought I would with some of these monsters. I hope nobody's getting bored of me rambling. Yeah, so this is... Sorry, we're introducing the next one. It's the Flatwoods Monster. For people who may have played Fallout, this might look familiar. This is a creature from that... Like, this creature shows up, I think, in Fallout 76. If I remember right. And possibly other Fallouts. Yeah, Flatwoods Monster is crazy. As you can kind of see from the design of it, it's kind of got like a slightly like robotic look, or like maybe like it's like wearing some kind of like armor or casing. Smo says, I believe so. So yeah, Smo possibly agrees with me about the Fallout thing. Yeah, so the Flatwoods Monster was a singular encounter back in the 70s, I think. I'm a little vague on some of these details. I didn't research quite as much as I should have for this. This is all just kind of like the knowledge I can remember from like back when I was like first learning about these things. But basically, this was an encounter where a group of kids were playing hide and seek out in the woods near their home. When suddenly one of the kids had like a dog that was with him, right? And the dog suddenly like went nuts and like went flying off into like the bushes, like after something. And so the kids like ran after the dog to see what was going on. And they get to like this clearing, and this sucker, this friendly fellow, is like in the middle of the clearing, and their dog is like barking its head off at it. And the kids all freak out, and they like start trying to run away. and one of the kids, their mom happened to be like nearby in the house, and she heard the kerfuffle going on, and so she came running out too, and she saw the same thing. And so you ended up having a thing where there was, I think, about 7 witnesses and a dog, I guess, so maybe 8 witnesses, depending on how you feel about that, that claimed to have seen this sucker, like, just out in the woods, chilling. And it was only that one time. Nobody's ever claimed to see this thing again. Like, it's very striking, right? Like, it's like a very unique looking creature. And it's weird that it's like it's the only the one time it's ever been seen. It kind of gives it like maybe like it was an alien visitor kind of a thing. Noir says interview the dog. Yeah, actually that's the sad thing, if I remember right, is because the dog got closer to it than anybody else, and I believe the dog ended up getting very sick. Like a couple of days later, the dog got very, very sick. Like maybe like it had been like breathing in some kind of fumes like from the monster. And that's like kind of like a sad thing. I think the dog did not die, but it was like very ill for a while, and that was like part of like the evidence, so to speak. But yeah, the Flatwoods Monster, crazy thing. I give the Flatwoods Monster a hug. I mean, look at that smile. Like, that's a face you can trust. Like, look at that guy. I bet that he was trying just to come in peace, like, take me to your leader kind of thing, and the kids all freaked out and panicked for no good reason. And Nora says, I want to encounter a cryptid. Yeah, I don't know. I think Nora says, dang kids. Yeah. That's like the really sad thing with like a lot of like cryptid encounters, or like alien encounters in general. Like the people who seem to be like the first contact with whatever like new species or like new life form, they don't react positively, and then I wonder if it scares it off. Like a lot of alien encounters, people always like scream and freak out, and I wonder if the aliens are like, oh, well, I guess they don't like us, let's get back in the ship and move on to the next planet, fellers. Like I wonder how often that's happened, where like we get like just like the worst person ends up like representing humanity in that moment, and then we miss out on like a cool thing. Yeah, Flatwoods Monster. This is a fun one. And so, let's see, this next one we got coming up, just peeking at my, yeah, this next one we got coming up is one that is truly terrifying, I think, just because I give this one a bit more credence than some of these other characters. Like, I think there's actually something to this one. We're gonna go ahead and talk about the Dogmen. Wait, wait, oh, wait, hold on, wait, no, jeez. Whoops, hey. Just a second. Okay, there we go. Don't worry about it. I think I pulled something from the wrong folder. It's all good. Dogmen, super scary, as you can see. Don't talk to me. It's fine. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about the Dogmen. As you can see, this sucker, very scary, very much you don't want to run into them in the woods. Yeah, this is just something that you hear a lot about, especially like this is actually kind of like a worldwide phenomenon, right? Like there's tons of accounts of things like this, like throughout the world. It's especially prevalent in the United States. So everybody's laughing about something. I don't. Noir says I stand the Dogmen. Smo says you dweeb. I don't know what you're talking about. This is, look, nobody can prove anything else was here, okay? Nick says, where's the respectful nod option? Noir says, I think I saw that guy at my state's anime convention. He was rainbow colored though. Smo says, conceal, don't crack. But yeah, no, so Dogmen, very scary. There's just so many stories of people encountering like weird things, like either in the woods or like on the outskirts of town. And like it's like a weird thing, right? And actually I was talking about this one. I did like a kind of like an interview or like a guest show with another VTuber, Poppy Wolf, and I think he put the video up on his channel. But like we talked about Dogmen for a while because he's like that's like a cryptid he's really interested in. And yeah, it's just like, it's a weird thing because like there's so many people that talk about seeing something like this that it kind of makes you think like maybe there is something to it. But like it's like so like weird and unnatural, right? Like there's no natural explanation for like what that is, right? Yeah, I don't know. I give dogmen a hug. Like I assume they're good boys and or good girls, you know? Like they're probably friendly. I don't know of any stories where like somebody's been killed by a dog person. Yeah, so that's the dogman. I'm gonna move on here. Got mermaids and or mer people, because we are gender non-specific here. But for the most part, I could only find pictures of mermaids, so that's why we have a picture of a mermaid. Nora says merfolk. Yeah, merfolk is the word I was looking for. I was like, I typed merpeople, and I was like, that doesn't seem right. But merfolk, Nora is correct. Merfolk would be the more accurate word here, I think. Nora says big stan. Yeah, I wasn't going to, the merfolk is kind of an interesting one, because like until recently I wouldn't have considered this a cryptid, right? Like this is more of like a mythological thing, because like I mean there's tons of like legends and stories about mermaids or merfolk or mer things. Mara says, do these include sirens and sea hags? Or where are the sea witches at? Yeah, I mean it's kind of, I guess they could all be kind of the same category, right? Because like sirens are like a big thing and sea hags are a thing. But the reason I wanted to include this one is because there's actually been some, I was trying to find them, but I could not find them before the stream started. But there's been a series of TikToks that this guy posted within the last few months, where he's like his TikToks are usually about him being like, because he's like a fisher, he's like a commercial fisher, and he has like his own rig that he runs like off the coast of California, I think. And he usually posts videos about like his boat and like stuff he's doing like out on the ocean, right? But then like a couple of months ago, he started posting about like this like weird stuff that was happening around his boat. Like he was posting TikToks of like this like weird sounds, like this like weird kind of sing-song sounds happening around his boat. And he even posted pictures of like these like things like chasing after his boat like in the water that kind of have like a mermaid shape to them. And it's been like this like really weird thing going on in his TikTok. And it's like maybe he could be faking it, I guess. But it's also like his TikTok was actually deleted. Like, and I think he tried to like open like another TikTok, and I think that one may, I haven't checked for like a month or so, but like it's been like this like weird ongoing saga with this guy, and like these like weird encounters he's having. And I'm like 60% sure it's fake, right? Like it's one of those things where like mermaids can't really exist, right? Question mark. Smo says, what about those poor unfortunate souls? Yeah, you know. Nora says, I have a sea hag OC. Oh wow. An OC? Ari says, command marriage. But no, yeah, I think like merfolk are really interesting, right? And again, like the ocean is one of those categories of like, we don't really know what's in the ocean, right? Smo says manatee. Like it could be like, I'd actually really love to do a stream something, like if I can find all of those like original TikToks, I'd love to do a stream where we could like all watch them together and like get your like y'all's opinion on it, right? Because like I'm like really divided about it, because like it's such a ridiculous concept that like mermaids are real, but it's also like when it comes to the ocean, like we don't really know what's down there. Like there's so much ocean space we don't know about, and maybe it's not like merfolk, but like maybe there's something down there that like actually like kind of matches the description. Like maybe that's like what sailors were seeing way back in the day. It's kind of like a weird thing, right? But like, I don't know, mermaids are fun. Mer people, merfolk. Get a big hug. Little Mermaid is still my favorite Disney movie. I will fight anybody who says otherwise. I had a huge crush on Ariel when I was a kid. I know. So merfolk are great. They get a big hug. And maybe if I can find those TikToks, I'd love to do a stream where we just like watch them all together and see what you all think. Like if you think it's fake or if you think it's real. Because I'm really divided. Mora says that's so cute. Balthazar says drinking too much salt water? Question mark. I mean, yeah, who knows, right? Like ocean is a weird place. Like ocean cryptids are like the time where like I'll usually give ocean-based or like water-based cryptids a pass. Just on the surface of like, I mean, who knows what's in there, right? There could be something. But anyway. Huh? Oh. Huh? What? You can't crash? No. Not correct. You crashed! I'm going to commit violence, I swear. How can the internet crash? Balthazar says the oceans are vast. No, right, yeah, like the ocean is like the one... is definitely like that weird area where like anything's possible. Okay, mer people. And then yeah, let's move along before... I don't know why... Chrome has never crashed for me. I don't happy that this is happening now. Yay, it's the Wendigo. The Wendigo is a friendly fella, as you can see. This is another... this is a Native American folkloric creature. Typically the Wendigo is a human who has been cursed or transformed into something like this. Like, there's a few different versions of what Wendigo looks like. This is kind of like a very traditional looking Wendigo. Like, very thin, very like long arms, like these like thin claws coming off. Like kind of like an animal skull kind of face with horns coming off of it. Balthazar says, run! Yeah, Wendigos are super scary, super fun. Fun's not the right word. Like, it's a really famous one, right? Like, this is like one that gets a lot of talk, because like there's like whole compilation videos on YouTube of like supposed Wendigo encounters. Like, let's see. Vega says probably a dumb decision, but Nick says don't say its name too much. Vega says hug. Alright, sorry, I won't say... Here, we'll call him Wendy. I think Wendy's safe, right? Yeah, so Wendy here is a big problem. Like, aside from her burgers giving you diabetes and like overload from the deliciousness, Wendy's are very dangerous. They're constantly starving. They're constantly on the prowl for human meat, specifically. They are no good. Ari says head pat Wendy. Wendy is cool. Alright, Ari. Whatever you say. I broke my... There's, it's fine. Don't worry. Yeah, so... Wendy's are... It's a folkloric tradition. Like, the idea is, like, you're cursed to become one if you eat human flesh, right? That's, like, the idea of, like, the thing, like, because they appear in the winter. They're, like, spirits of, like, starvation and hunger. They can never be satisfied. Super, super bad news. Not good. And to Nix's point, which I do genuinely, like, have a bit of respect for the point, a lot of people... like in Native American, like of Native American descent, they don't like talking about this because there's like a real fear of the creature, right? Like, and I mean, fair enough. Like, if I saw this sucker, like, at all in real life, even like from like a mile away, I would be ready and happy to experience death rather than get close to it. Like, Ari says dangerous with them Borgers. Human Borgus. Yeah, of course. Yeah, so... yeah, it's definitely like... it's a very real thing to a lot of people. And, I mean, there's a lot of stories about them, so you kind of have to wonder if there's something to it. Like, that's kind of my stance on a lot of, like, supernatural stuff. Is, like, if there's a lot of people talking about something, then you kind of have to wonder. Like, maybe maybe it's not exactly this creature that's out there, but maybe there's something going on, right? Like, I mean, I don't know, humans, for the most part, are not dumb. Like usually, like, our beliefs are based in some kind of degree of truth. But, yeah, so this is Wendy. I'm gonna go ahead and give Wendy a handshake, personally. Because, you know, I don't want to mess with that. Then we have the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds are more Native American folklore. I definitely had quite a couple of these in the reel today. Balthazar says every legend has some basis in truth, or at least perceived truth. Yeah, I agree with that, Balthazar. Like, I think, like, a lot of legends and stories that are passed down over the years, like, they may be, like, warped and changed, but I think at the core of a lot of them, there's, like, something that really happened. Which is why I never like to discount, like, cryptid stories, because I think there's usually something there, even if it's not exactly what we think it is. But Thunderbirds are awesome. They are, depending on the source, they're either, like, real physical creatures, or they're kind of like powerful nature spirits. And the idea is that they're birds that have like lightning shooting off of them. Like, it's like pretty much that simple. They're just like giant birds. And storms follow in their wake. And this is probably the very first cryptid that I ever became aware of, which is why I decided to put it on the list. Because there was a show, like, so I used to watch, like, way back in the day when I was a kid, if anybody remembers Animal Planet, that channel that was just like all animals all the time. I loved Animal Planet as a kid, and there used to be a show on it called Animal X, and it was basically like a cryptid show where they would just talk about creatures that were kind of like not discovered, or like could exist, might not exist, like creatures of legend. It was a really fun show, and they did a whole episode on Thunderbirds once, and we're like, I totally fell in love with the idea of Thunderbirds. It was super fun. And so I figured I'd put Thunderbirds on the list. I give them a big hug. I think they're fun. Actually, and as far as like more recent Thunderbirds in popular culture, there's a really fun show on Netflix called Hilda. It's a cartoon, technically made for kids. But there's an episode in Hilda where they encounter a Thunderbird. Because Hilda is all about like mythological creatures, like in like a vaguely European setting. It's a really fun show, and the Thunderbird episode is one of my favorites. It's like from season 1, I think. Yeah, Thunderbirds get a big hug. They're the best. They're delightful. And let's go ahead and move on. We have the Fresno Nightcrawler. This is one I talk about a lot. Like, if you follow me on Twitter, I've tweeted about the Fresno Nightcrawler a couple of times. So I think he's so adorable. He's just, the Fresno Nightcrawler, I like to refer to them as the ghost pants. Because look at them, there's big spooky pants walking around in the woods. And the Fresno Nightcrawler is fun because it's only been witnessed a handful of times, and never directly by humans. It's been basically captured on like game footage cameras and security cameras. And it's always like the same kind of thing of like, it'll be like either one or maybe two like creatures kind of like walking along, just minding their own business. They go past the camera and that's it. And it's just a pair of spooky pants. I love it. They're adorable. I want to protect them. And, like, there's really not much more to the story, because like there's no. It's like literally the whole Fresno Nightcrawler thing is like, it's a handful of videos and people just like shrugging their shoulders and being like, oh, that's kind of weird. Like, there's like no deeper lore really. It's just like a weird thing that's been happening like over in California for the last like maybe 10 years or so. Ari says command double head pats. That's a bold move there, Ari. I respect it. Yeah, the Fresno Nightcrawler gets big hugs from me because they're adorable, and everybody should love them. That's my story. But yeah, there's not much more to say about them, unfortunately, because there's just not much out there about them. So let's move on to Spring-Heeled Jack. Spring-Heeled Jack is the king of the B-list cryptids. Like, because he is just a super bizarre, like, thing from... he was encountered, I think, pretty much only in England, like, I think specifically London, if I can remember right. But, like, in Victorian London, for about, like, it wasn't very long, it was like maybe a few years. But there were these reports people were sending in of seeing this like weird character, like possibly like a demon, possibly some kind of monster, and it was like attacking people. And then the thing that was like weird about Spring Hill Jack that gave him his name is that like he would attack people, and then he would make his getaway by doing like these just enormous leaps. Like you could like leap like 15 feet in the air and like just like jump over buildings, jump over fences, and like get out of dodge. Noir says Tumblr sexy man. I mean, you're not super far off, Noir. The reason I consider Spring Hill Jack to be like the king of like B-list cryptids is because he had less than honorable actions a lot of the time. Basically, Spring Hill Jack attacked two kinds of people. He would either attack police officers and literally and straight up just like slap the hell out of them, just like backhand them and run away, like cackle like a madman the whole time before the policeman could react, which is very funny. And then the less funny thing he would do is he would like attack like young women who were like out alone at night, and he would like tear up their shirts, cop a feel, and then run away. So that's less cool. That's definitely like not a very cool move. But yeah, that's why you don't really hear about him too often as far as like famous cryptids, because that's like less cool. But it's also like he's such a weird thing, because like a lot of people describe him like people always say like, well, he looked like a human until he got close, and then they would see that he had like these like big claws, like these like metal claws on his hands. He'd have like these horns coming out of his head, and he could breathe blue fire. Like he'd like breathe blue fire into people's faces to like stun them and like freak them out. And then he'd either like beat them up or whatever, and then he'd run away by like jumping like these like crazy like long distances, and like he would just like disappear in a cloud of dust. Yeah, he's super weird. A lot of people think it might be like a really elaborate cosplay that somebody made, like some rich guy made, like some kind of like spring-loaded boots to like help him run away faster or something. I don't know. Spring Hill Jack is weird. I give him a handshake, but you know, you got to talk about Spring Hill Jack though, because he's wild. Ari says command no touchy. Yeah, that's fair, Ari. Yeah, Spring Hill Jack, he gets a handshake. He's really fun to talk about. Not somebody you maybe want to hang out with. So there you go. And then next we have the NASA Gargoyle. Okay, this is a really fun one, and this is also one that I don't think a lot of people talk about, because the NASA Gargoyle, as per the description, is this thing that has been seen outside of like NASA's, like the main NASA building, like down in like Texas or wherever that is. Like there's this thing that's seen around NASA sometimes, and people describe it as kind of looking like a gargoyle, basically. Like, and I guess for a long time this is kind of like something that like I guess people at NASA were seeing, but nobody was really talking about it, because you know, you don't talk about seeing monsters if you work at the most advanced aeronautical space center in the world, because that's not good for your career. Yeah, like there's just this, and that's kind of like the gist of like there's just a lot of stories of people who encounter, like say like somebody's like leaving you know the building late at night by themselves. They'll like see something that like kind of catches their eye, like, and they'll look up and they'll like see like this sucker standing on like the edge of a building or like on top of a flagpole. One guy claims that he saw like crouching on the other side of his car, like he was getting ready to like get onto the driver's side, and he looked across and saw this thing like on the passenger side door, like waiting to be let in, I guess. Which, that's not cool. That's not a comfy thought. Yeah, it's like this weird thing, and it's like there's like no explanation for it. It's just kind of like this generally understood like, yeah, sometimes we see a gargoyle around here, don't worry about it, keep building those rockets. Oh, Magic Doctor says Grayson, give me a bedtime story. I mean, I don't know, we're kind of just like talking stories in general right now, like just talked about the NASA gargoyle. Nix says chonky. Yeah, that's very fair. Yeah, like the NASA gargoyle is another one. It's like really weird, but like it's seen by a lot of people who are otherwise very credible, right? Like it's a lot of scientists and other people that like work at NASA, like claiming to see this thing. And it's like really weird, right? Like Magic's doctor says your talking makes me sleepy because of how soothing it is. Thanks. I'm glad you said soothing and not boring. I appreciate that. I appreciate the word choice because it does matter. Yeah, so that's the NASA gargoyle. I give the NASA gargoyle a big hug because he's weird, and it's just like a weird thing that's going on. Like nobody's really explained it yet, and I don't think anybody's like really gonna bother explaining it. There's like, there's a gargoyle here. Don't worry about it. Magic Doctor says you're not boring. You're soothing to be around. Oh, thanks, Magic Doctor. Yeah, so that's the NASA gargoyle. I think we got 2 cryptids left, so this is the 2 cryptid countdown. And actually, I'm going to take a quick water break. Sorry. My throat's getting dry. I don't usually talk this much on streams. Magic Doctor says, I don't feel like causing mass massacre on Warframe, just call me either Magic or Doc. Okay. Hey, Magic. Like Magic Johnson, I assume. I don't know if you're as good at basketball, but I'll call you Magic. Oh, and Paranormal Instigator says, happy birthday, Gray. Thanks, Para. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. And Amer says, happy birthday. Oh, Amer, hello. Hi. You're just in time for the last... I know, we're doing just the last couple of cryptids, actually, but thank you. Thank you, Para, and thanks you, Amer. Hope y'all are doing well. Oh, I guess hello to Magic as well. I hope y'all having a good day. I hope things are going well. I hope your weekend is going well. Magic says apparently it's your birthday also. Happy birthday. Yeah, this is like my special birthday stream we're doing today. I guess for anybody who's just joined, we're talking about cryptids and whether they are huggable or handshakeable. And Ari is really determined to give head pats. Which I guess I need to make that a command. So I apologize to you, Ari. I will make that, and I'll give that as an option in future streams since you want it so badly. Magic says, good day? My good day is made up of merble, very weird cryptids just like hanging outside of NASA. Lots of people have seen it, and nobody has an explanation what it is. It's just kind of a thing that's going on, and nobody really talks about it. So that's the end. I give the NASA gargoyle a hug. And we're going to move on to the space penguins. The space penguins of Tuscumbia. Ari says, do it or else. Magic says, I want a pet gargoyle. Yeah, pet gargoyle would be sweet. I loved... If anybody remembers the show Gargoyles from back in the day, I loved Gargoyles. That show is so cool. Magic says, I don't have to deal with dumb people on the roads. Magic says, they are handshakeable. Yeah, so this is the Space Penguins. Space Penguins of Tuscumbia is one of my all-time favorites. It's a recent favorite. Basically, this is an encounter that happened back in the late 60s, where a farmer claims that his farm was invaded by about a dozen penguins in green jumpsuits, basically. That's kind of like his description. You can see like this is like a professional artist's render of what it probably looked like. This up here in the corner, this is the original eyewitness sketch that the farmer gave. Like, I love the confidence of somebody, because like he went to the police station, right? He went to the police station with this drawing and said that he was attacked by these creatures, and he said that with a straight face. Can you imagine going to like any kind of authority figure with like this kind of a drawing and be like, this is what attacked me, officer. I demand justice. Magic says it looks like a child's drawing. It really is. Like this is like a farmer. I want to say the farmer was in his 50s at the time this happened. Balthasar says the 60s. Well, that explains a lot. Yeah, can you imagine Like, you're just like a police officer in a small town, and this guy comes running in to be like, there's space penguins. They're attacking my fields. They all piled up on me. And this is what they look like, officer. You gotta go arrest them. Like, can you imagine? Like, yeah, basically, like, he was just minding his own business. And then he saw, like, this ship just, like, came down, landed on his field. And, like, 12 of these things piled out of the spaceship. And, like, just, like, started screwing around on his farm. And I guess he ended up he scared them off by throwing rocks at them. Which, I mean, I don't know. I think if I was being invaded by an advanced alien race, I don't know if rocks would be my first choice of defense. But I guess you gotta do what you gotta do to defend your turf. Magic says anything out of the 60s is nonsense. Can we talk about the triangle on top of the Pentagon that we don't have an answer to? Oh, are you talking about the, like, that video footage of the pyramid that was, like, floating above the Pentagon? Or are you referring to something else? Ari says you're an advanced alien race, great. You don't know that. There's no proof. I'm a human. I have human things. I got a human birthday. Humans have birthdays. I'm a human. Don't be spreading rumors, Ari. Rumors get people talking about things. Magic says yes. And Paris says he threw rocks at some extraterrestrial campers, a real hero. We still don't have an answer to that. No, yeah, it's really true. Like, these penguins, like, it's not even like they attacked him. They just, like, kind of landed on his farm and were just having a good time. And suddenly this, like, angry, yelly thing started, like, throwing stuff at him. And they got out of dodge. And Ari says, I have human feelings. It's true, Ari. I have human feelings. And my human feelings don't like being called alien. Because it's super definitely not true. Magic says that's what an alien would say, is they have a human birthday. You don't know that. You don't know nothing. I'm super definitely I know people. Geez, wait. No, cause no, Smo can vouch for me, right? Smo knows I'm a person. He's heard my voice. I don't know if we've ever done a face cam conversation. And then Magic says, yes, that pyramid thing on top of the Pentagon. That would actually be fun. Like, that's another... I'd love to do a stream where we look at, like, UFO videos. Like, I think it'd be fun to, like, talk with everybody, like react to, like, a whole bunch of, like, different videos of stuff, right? Like, I think it'd be a really fun stream. Like, we do, like, UFO videos, we could do, like, ghost videos. Like, there's all kinds of, like, fun stuff we could, like, all, like, talk about together, right? And, like, give opinions on. Ari says human people. Smo says ... I mean, I hear your voice now. See? Magic was about to say, Smo's not here. Well, never mind. Author says, oh dang, IRL is calling Grace, and I had a really good time. I like this type of stream. A good call on your part. Looking forward to another installment. Have a great birthday. Enjoy yourself. See you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, Franklin says hello. Oh, that's nice of Franklin. Yeah, no problem, Balthazar. Have a good day. Good luck. Have fun. We'll see you later. And say hello to Franklin for me. Thanks. Para says, as a human, I can vouch for Grace humanity. See? Para knows that I'm a human. Oh, oops. I almost spoiled it. I think I did spoil it a little bit. Yeah, see, Para, since Para is also definitely human and not secretly a ghost pretending to be a human, I think we can all agree that I am too definitely a human. And Magic says we don't have an answer to that pyramid thing. Now, yeah, that's a weird video. I'd really love to watch that one again. Because I haven't seen that one in a long time. But yeah, there's like a lot of really fun, weird stuff out there. I'd love to start doing more reaction videos. Where we just like talk about like weird stuff together. Like maybe we could like make it like a weekly thing, right? We could do like a weekly stream where we just like look at like weird videos together and talk about them. Magic says we need to answer to it. Paris says, oh, I'm a ghost. No secret about that. It's just a dead human is still a human. I mean, you right. You right, Para. I think dead humans lose certain rights and privileges, unfortunately, because society is biased and unjust. But yeah, you're definitely a human, sure. Magic says IDK what I am. I'm a thing, person, potato. That's unfortunate. I mean, I think you're a very good thing person, Potato Magic. I think you need to have higher respect for your human thing person status, Potato. Do potatoes have birthdays? It's a good question. At what point could a potato be considered born? These are philosophical questions of great importance. Yeah, these are the space penguins. I give the space penguins a big hug. They're delightful. And now let's move on to the final cryptid of the evening. If I had... wait. Dang it, I don't. I thought I might have like a drum roll button. I don't have a drum roll button. This is the final... Imagine I'm doing a drum roll sound. Well, a potato is born, you know you gotta farm it. I mean, potatoes at some point, there has to be a moment where it stops being like a spud and starts being like... Or like starts being a sprout and starts being a potato, right? But anyway. Grayson, the best cryptid. How dare you, Ari? I'm super definitely a human. I have a social security number and everything. Magic says when it comes out of the ground. That's fair. I guess coming out of the ground could be considered a kind of birth, right? Yeah, so let's go ahead and move on to the final cryptid of the day. Here's Bigfoot. Because we had to talk about Bigfoot, right? You can't not talk about Bigfoot when you're doing like a Bigfoot or like a cryptid stream. And I figured Bigfoot would be like the perfect one to end on. Magic says lol potatoes. Yeah, Bigfoot is the best. Magic says what's a Bigfoot? Fine, Sasquatch, whatever. Paris says bada bada Bigfoot. No, yeah, that bottom Bigfoot, he goes to the gym. Like, I picked that one just because he was like particularly ripped and just bustling with muscles. And you know the people with Bigfoots have a big yeah? Yeah, they have big shoes, I've heard. I watch Seinfeld. Yeah, so Bigfoot. Gotta talk about Bigfoot, right? I got a snapshot of if people have talked. I don't know if people if people are aware of the Patterson-Gimlin film, which was a supposed film taken of Bigfoot back like in the mid-60s. This is like that famous frame shot of Bigfoot from that film. And Magic says, sure, let's go with shoes, not the other one. Bigfoot dumpy. Yeah, Ari says hug. Actually, fun fact that I think I should be clear on stating is this top picture people have determined to be a female Bigfoot. I don't know how they determined that, but that's what everybody says. Based on the video evidence, they're like, ah, it's definitely a female. I don't know how you determine that when you've never fully discovered the species, but I guess people are experts on everything. Yeah, so this is a supposed frame shot of a real Bigfoot in real life. This is like the most famous shot of said Bigfoot. And this is an artist's rendition of what Bigfoot would look like if he hit the gym more often and did not skip leg day, as you can see. Ari says big hug. I say right on its shoulders from Magic. Ari says cause of the eyes. Ari says determined it by thirst. That's, fair. That's totally fair, Para. That's probably what it was. Nix says zoom in for research. Smo says gait, hips, shoulders, I guess. Yeah, I think Smo, I guess to be the less funny answer, but yeah, Smo's kind of right, like, because people have analyzed that film to death. And the Patterson-Gimlin film is actually one I'd really love to do a stream about, because that's a fascinating one of, like, because, like, I think the Patterson-Gimlin film might be real. Like, I don't know if it's really showing a Bigfoot, but, like, I don't know, like, there's a whole bunch of things that are, like, weird about that film that make it seem like it's a really genuine thing. Ari says kill him, Smo. Yeah, so... yeah, Bigfoot, I give Bigfoot a big hug. Because, I mean, it's just Bigfoot. You gotta love Bigfoot. Like, have you ever seen Harry and the Hendersons? That movie's amazing. Bigfoot's so lovable. Yeah, so this is... yeah, like, Bigfoot gets a big hug. I would love to do... I was actually thinking it might be fun to do another stream where we talk about the types of Bigfoot. Because there's like a million different versions of Bigfoot, right? Because, like, you have, like, your traditional Bigfoot, then you have, like, Skunk Ape, you have the Honey Island Swamp Monster, you have the Beast of Bray Road, Like there's like 1,000 versions of Bigfoot like throughout the world. And maybe we could do like a tier list, like a Bigfoot tier list, like all the different kinds of Bigfoot there are. Like what Bigfoot is best, what is worst. Harris says R.I.P. Grayson Allen killed by Bigfoot's crushing hug. Oh man, yeah. If this guy gives you a hug, your ribs have been turned to dust. You become Para, like you become Ghost. Like, yeah. So Bigfoot is great. He gets a big hug, and I love him. And I think, like, legitimately, like maybe this makes me a bit of a nutso, but I really do consider Bigfoot to be one of the more credible cryptids out there. Like, I think there really could be something to it. Like, I don't know, we can get into that some other time, but I think Bigfoot's fun. I think a lot of people give Bigfoot a lot of crap. But, I don't know, he's great. He's a classic, right? If you get stepped on a Bigfoot, you become one. Is that how that works? If he steps on your foot, you become a Bigfoot? Vegas would give this cryptid a handshake. That's fair. Ari says, you are a credible cryptid, Gray. Don't... Ari, this is how rumors get started. Okay. We all need to agree together that Grayson Allen is definitely a human. Like... I don't know if I get the citizen status if I'm not a human. I don't want to be kicked out of America. Magic says, what are we gonna play today, Grayson? So Paris says it's probably extinct by now if it was real. Yeah, and I mean, that's a whole other conversation we could have, Para. Because I mean, absolutely, like 100% true. Something like this has existed at some point on the planet, right? The big question with Bigfoot is if it still exists, I think, right? Because, like, I think we can all, like, at some point during the evolutionary process, there was a creature that looked like this. Or maybe not quite this muscly. I don't know how good CrossFit was back in the day. But there's definitely, like, something like this is not beyond belief. The question is if you can, like, go out today into the woods and encounter something like this. Which I think that's a really fun debate to have. Ari says, I believe in you, Gray. You are real. Thanks, Ari. that's super nice of you. Amir says, I thought it was a myth. Maddie says, I believe I'm alive. Yeah, Bigfoot is like... Because like there's a lot of stuff about Bigfoot that's kind of like a myth. There's like a lot of legends about Bigfoot. But there's also like a lot of stories about Bigfoot that like feel more truthful, right? Like there's like... Because, like, there's a lot of, there's Native American stories, right, regarding Bigfoot, right? Or, like, there's, like, legends of, like, these, like, really hairy tribes of people that used to exist in North America. But they had wars, like, with other tribes who were eventually all killed off. And it's like, you hear, like, stories like that. You hear stories of, like, you know, occasional sightings of, like, a singular creature in the woods. Some of them are more believable than others. I mean, you get those like really crazy stories where people claim that Bigfoot telepathically communicates with them and leaves them cookies by their back door every morning. And I would call that less credible, but I'll never say impossible, because I mean, I don't know. Maybe Bigfoot's really into no big cookies. Those are easy enough to make in the woods. But yeah, so that's Bigfoot. That's our final cryptid for today. Bigfoot gets a hug, and yeah, I hope this was kind of fun for everybody. I really had a lot of fun like getting to talk about this kind of stuff with people. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Yeah, I would love to do more streams like this in the future, where we just talk about like different kind of paranormal stuff. It's like, I think it's really fascinating. I think it's like fun to talk about. I think it helps get you kind of thinking about different stuff. Like we could do streams about ghosts, and maybe Para could offer his expert advice since he is a ghost, and could maybe confirm if he is or is not real. Because that'd be a really convenient way, just like interview a ghost and be like, oh yeah, ghosts are definitely real then, right? That's how it works. Yeah, I think I want to do more stuff like this, or like maybe like more like reaction videos, like looking at like you know, cryptid footage or like UFO videos. And I think it'd be a really fun thing to do. And Ari's... chat just crashed. That's not what you want to see. Oh, what just happened? Let's see. Sorry, sorry, my chat just crashed. I'm pulling it up on my phone. Ari says... Amir says, I thought it was a myth. I believe I'm alive. Ari says, actually a lot of fun. And Nick says, yeah, fun stream. Ari says, really hope you do, Gray. And then a bunch of hearts and then love. Namir says, more emotes. Ari says, hell yeah. Ari says, sorry, I won't be able to attend. I'm scared of ghosts. Boy, that's really unfortunate. Ari, that's really unfortunate, Para. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I hope everybody had a good time. I think this has actually been going for just about 2 hours. So I think it was like just about the perfect length of time for like a good stream. And yeah, so I was saying earlier, I was gonna stream a video game today. I was gonna play more Final Fantasy 14. But I actually have plans with some family after this. So I will be doing a video game stream tomorrow. I'll be playing Final Fantasy 14 tomorrow, for anyone that is interested in that. And then on Monday, I will be playing more Warframe. And then, yeah, we'll kind of like continue the schedule from that point. I think maybe once a week or maybe every other week, I want to start doing more paranormal kind of content. Like something like this or maybe like something else. Can kind of discuss options. I'll probably post about it on Discord and get people's opinions there, see what people would like to be interested in. So I think this is pretty much the end of the stream at this point. Just gonna see. Ari says tear glove. Oh. People will be sending emotes and saying oh. Nick says, hope you have a good rest of your day and happy birthday again. Yeah, thank you, Nix. And, oh yeah, actually, I think it did pop up earlier, but I have a new, what do you call it? A new thing that pops up whenever people follow now on Twitch. I think it popped up when, it popped up when Vega followed, but like, Nix made a really nice little, like, follower banner for me. It's like a little smiling, waving Bigfoot. And it's really cute, and that was really nice of Nix to make that. Yeah, so I think this is kind of it. I hope everybody has a good rest of their day. Para says, have a happy birthday, thanks for the stream. Yeah, thanks for stopping by, Para, it was good to see you. And yeah, thanks Ari, thanks Smo, thanks Magic. Yeah, have fun on Warframe, Magic Doctor. It's a fun game. Everybody should play that one. Yeah, thanks everybody who is willing to stop by. Like, and thank you Vega for the follow. Yeah, I hope y'all have a good rest of your day. Have a good weekend, and we will see y'all another time. Bye bye.